Hey everyone, it's Alex the Real Mr. Robinson. So a few days ago, I was over at the Disneyland Resort because I just kind of needed an escape from real life. And my annual pass is about to be blacked out all summer, so I figured, you know what, better take advantage of it while I can. So I managed to record a few videos over there. Some of them I'll be posting within the next week or two, but I also got to see the sneak previews that they had for both Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales and Cars 3. And I figured, you know what, why don't I review these two previews? And given that Pirates of the Caribbean is about to come out this weekend, I figured to start with Pirates. So I already reviewed the first four Pirates of the Caribbean movies over the past few weeks. And with this movie coming out, I'm not so sure how I feel about it. I want it to be good, but I'm not hopeful that it's going to be good. So I figured that watching this sneak peek, which is a pretty good amount of one scene, would be able to give me a better feeling of how I'm looking forward to this movie. And in a way, it kind of does. The scene that they presented here, I don't know when it's supposed to take place. I assume sometime at the beginning of the movie, because we're introduced to one of the new characters played by Kea Scodelario. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Who basically is a woman who's accused of being a witch and is sentenced to death and imprisoned, all because she wants to be a scientist and she's much smarter than most of the other people in this small town, which the people in this town seem to be just a bunch of dumb idiots. They're basically the townspeople in the live-action Beauty and the Beast that came out a few months ago. So the scene basically introduces her the same way we were introduced to Jyn Erso in the first trailer for Rogue One, where they kind of list down all of her crimes. And then the movie starts to go in the direction of Fast Five, where we get our reintroduction to Captain Jack Sparrow as he and the crew of the Black Pearl are trying to rob a bank. Seems piratey enough, seems simple enough. So basically their plan is to tie rope to this safe, this pretty small safe, to a couple of horse and buggies, which just because you have a smaller safe doesn't mean you're able to drag it along, especially with a horse and buggy. But they end up dragging the entire building with them, and I just figured, you know what? As ridiculous as that is, as much as it breaks this thing called physics, the other Pirates of the Caribbean movies did that already, so why am I really going to complain about it now at the fifth movie? But I also gotta say that it's inventive. Sure, it's pretty much like the finale of Fast Five, where they're dragging this giant safe, or in this case, the whole bank, but it's creative, because when you look back at the action scenes in On Stranger Tides, like the big chase scene in that movie, it's pretty much Jack Sparrow just jumping around from buggy to buggy. Not really all that special and creative. This scene is actually creative. It seems like something that Gore Verbinski would do, and I gotta admit, I had fun with it. And the entire preview gets cut off with that shot in the trailer when Jack Sparrow is running over a building in slow motion as it's exploding behind him. And when they cut it off, I was like, oh, I wanted to see the rest of it. So it's a clever way to get you hooked into it. And then, as the scene is going on, the woman who claims herself to be a scientist, whose name is Karina, is pretty much on the run. She and Jack have a brief encounter, although I don't think that either of them know that they're gonna end up together on this adventure. And their camaraderie seems to work very well. Even though it's just one scene and it's not the whole movie, I kind of like Karina as a character because she's strong-willed and she's smart, for one thing, because a lot of the people in this one town that's in the scene are pretty much idiots. So that's kind of nice. And Johnny Depp is still good as Jack Sparrow from what we've seen in this clip. Although in this scene here, he is little more drunk than usual. The only times I could recall in the other movies where he was like drunk off his ass was when he and Elizabeth Swann are having that little bonfire in the first movie singing yo ho, pirate's life for me. It was just like a small moment. In this scene here, he is totally shit-faced, and he does a few things that are very much in the vein of Captain Jack Sparrow, proving again that Johnny Depp still knows this character very well, even 5 movies in. He is Captain Jack Sparrow, the same way Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, or Harrison Ford is Han Solo in Indiana Jones. So it's a fun scene, fun enough to where, again, once it cut off before it ended, I was like, oh, So then after that, there's a small trailer that's edited together that shows a little bit of the supposed climax. I assume it's the climax. And then it introduces another subplot involving one of the other new characters, which I don't know if any of the other trailers are showing it or any of the other TV spots. I've kind of avoided them, so just for the sake of not spoiling anything, I'm not going to say that here. But let me just say, as much as I enjoyed that scene that they showed beforehand, the emergence of this subplot made me a little concerned. It made me worry that this movie's once again going to go down the road of way too many things going on in a story that should be very simple. But I'll wait till the movie comes out. So those are my honest thoughts about the sneak peek of Pirates of the Caribbean that they showed at Disney's California Adventure. So I feel a little more optimistic about it, but I'm still going in with caution. Because as much as I enjoyed Dead Man's Chest, it was a little overly complicated. At World's End was a goddamn mess. And while On Stranger Tides was easier to follow, it's still mediocre and pretty forgettable. So I'm hoping that this new movie, I'm hoping at the very least it's like Dead Man's Chest. If it can match up to Curse of the Black Pearl, then that would be great. Just as a quick update, I'd like to point out that this video was made before the embargo was lifted. So as I'm saying all of this, I have no idea what the word of mouth of the movie was going to be. And now that it's up, ouch, that sucks. That's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed it. I will have my review up for the sneak preview of Cars 3 in the next week or two, since Cars 3 is still a couple weeks away. So keep your eyes open for that, and keep your eyes open for a couple of other Disneyland videos, and my retro review series for the Mummy movies, which starts tomorrow. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment down below if you've been to Disney's California Adventure recently, and you've seen the sneak peek for Dead Men Tell No Tales. What did you think of it? How are you feeling about the movie? And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you, there is only one.